Hi, welcome to our Friday TNT. Somehow we got to the end of the working week, which means tomorrow is our live program. That'll be between 9 and 10 a.m. Thai time. As I speak to you, even though I've got a very clever little filter, it's pissing down rain. We'll actually get to the weather a little bit later around Thailand. Generally, it's a pretty wet day coming up, but hey, it's the wet season. Now, all the next stories sort of come under the heading of, well, how's that going? Let's check it out. We start with this one in nation Thailand. Giving foreigners longer property leases will not hurt ties. Generally referring to foreign use of land in Thailand, one which would extend the amount of condos available in a particular project from 50% of the apartments up to 75%. The other one is to extend commercial leases, might even be residential leases on land from some 30 or 50 years up to 99 years. The Move Forward MP questioned the plans to open Thailand's property market even further for foreign investors, asking if it will make it even tougher for locals to buy houses. But Thais have nothing to worry about, according to the Deputy Interior Minister, Chada Thai said, in response to concerns over increasing the property leasehold period for foreigners to 99 years. He said the plan to amend the 2019 Rights Over Leasehold Asset Act is still being studied by the Land Department. Of course, they'll weigh the pros and cons of the plan and says the impact on the Thai public is minimal. The minister also said the aim of increasing the leasehold period is to draw foreigners to invest more in Thailand, but they'll not become owners of the country as feared by the opposition. He says it will not be like the UK leasing Hong Kong. And he noted if the government goes ahead with the plan, the House of Representatives, of course, will have a chance to screen and amend the bill anyway. So let's just swing this one around and ask the question in the comments section. If it was your country and you were offering foreigners 99-year leases, maybe they already get that opportunity. What would you feel about that? As we move on to number two in how's that going? This is an article in patiamail.com, new tax rules for foreign sourced income. So definitely one of the most discussed and, well, most misunderstood bits of news over the past 12 months. I rate Patia Mail because they have been writing articles that have demystified a lot of this. They've said where we don't know things, we don't know. And they've also provided, I think, some balanced commentary and well, balancing that against a lot of the hysteria that's been provided on YouTube channels and well, a lot of forums. Let's go through it. Now, I'll put a link in the description if you want to read this, but it's fairly cut and dried. And well, we'll move on. And it starts by saying, in response to the growing concerns among expats, the Thai Revenue Department has issued a number of orders effective from January this year to provide clear guidelines on the taxation of foreign sourced income. Here's a detailed look. Let's go through some of these. Foreign income reporting starting January the 1st, 2024. All residents in Thailand must report income from abroad, that includes Thais, when it's brought into the country. This includes income from work, investments, and assets located outside Thailand. However, any income earned before this date can be transferred to Thailand tax-free if done by December 31, 2024. Don't worry writing all this down. There is a link in the description of this video so you can read the whole article. And what's residency? Well, anyone staying in Thailand for one or more periods totaling at least 180 days in any tax year is considered a resident. Repeal of conflicting regulations. So any previous regulations that contradicted the new order are officially repealed. An exemption for pre-2024 income. The amendment explicitly states that income earned before January 2024 is exempt from these new provisions if transferred to Thailand by the end of this year. And then just a quick statement saying the new orders align with existing guidelines to ensure a smooth transition for both taxpayers and revenue officers. So, what's the impact? For expatriates receiving income already taxed in another country, such as pensions, these amounts will not be subject to additional Thai taxes. For a lot of retirees, that has been a major concern. There are a lot of people staying in Thailand living off their retirement income. They were concerned that they were going to have to suddenly start filing taxation reports about their pensions. Well, it looks like from this particular statement that pensions, as we sort of suspected all along, are not going to be involved. Then again, if you've got a different sort of mix of pensions and other sorts of incomes, you probably need a tax consultant. And income from foreign work or assets, income generated from work or assets located abroad, must be reported if transferred into Thailand from January the 1st this year onwards. And this includes dividends, interest, rental income, capital gains from foreign investments. So there's a few of the main points in that article, not hysterical, quite clearly laid out. And as I've said all along, there's no one size fits all answer for anyone because everybody's got an individual financial situation. And this particular legislation or changes could affect you or it may not affect you at all. So you're going to need to get some good advice. But hopefully over the next few months, we'll start seeing a few case studies. There's one case study in this article, for example, about how it might affect a particular person from a particular country with certain financial obligations. As I said, a link in the description, and that's number 2 in our How's That Going For You? And thanking our sponsors, 5-Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. Hi to Sean and the team. Also to Beach House Thailand. Yes, that's my business if you want to come and spend a little bit of quiet time watching the waves or maybe even dipping your toe in the water at Tai Nang Beach. So, how's that going for you? Number 3, this is a case that comes from last year, and it was a Thai activist who decided it might be a good idea to do a bit of spray painting on the wall of the Grand Palace. Well, how's that going for you? Activist sentenced to 8 months in jail for vandalising the Grand Palace wall. And an activist who vandalised the wall of the Grand Palace with spray paint was sentenced to 8 months in prison. 26-year-old Sutawi Soikan was arrested on March the 28th last year, spray painting the wall of the Grand Palace while some of his friends were using their smartphones to record the act. And the court found the defendant guilty of violating the Ancient Monuments, Antique Objects of Art and National Museum Act and the Cleanliness Act. Now, that's interesting because if you look at what he was writing on the wall, it was 112, referring to Article 112, the Lèse Majesté rule, the Royal Defamation Act. And they didn't get him on any royal defamation. What they got him on was, well, basically graffiti. It's quickly checking the Bangkok Post. Grand Palace graffiti artist gets 8 months sentence. And you can see there he was writing that 112 on the Grand Palace wall. Interestingly, cases are still pending against 2 journalists who were at the scene when the act of vandalism took place. Police did not charge them until February the 13th this year. So the police alleging that the journalists and the photographers must have known what was going on, so they're somehow complicit in the act. And a freelance photographer and a reporter from the online news outlet Pracha Thai were just doing their jobs and had no other involvement, they say. So their case is yet to be heard, but the vandal himself has been given 8 months in jail. Now, next one, this is our last one in our How's That Going For You? We go to the good old Chinese submarine. To the Bangkok Post again, they're reporting sub ordered by Thailand, offered to Indonesia. China's reportedly offering to sell Indonesia a half-built submarine originally ordered by Thailand and claims it will include a German-made engine if that's what Jakarta wants. And the development comes despite claims by Thailand that the problem-plagued deal to acquire the Chinese submarine is back on track. The Defence Minister said back in May that negotiations would take another 1 or 2 months to conclude. So I think the Chinese sub-builders have thought, well, if you don't want it, we'll find out somebody who does. Beijing's been trying to persuade Thailand to accept a Chinese-built generator in place of the German engine. Maybe Indonesia, with some 14,000 islands, might find a better use for the Chinese submarine anyway. I really have no idea why Thailand thought a submarine was a good idea. Let's go to our next news story. Nation Thailand reporting contractions in auto, property sectors a blow to economic expansion. And the Joint Standing Committee on Commerce, Industry and Banking has cut its estimation of Thailand's GDP expansion by 0.3 to 0.4% to 2.2 to 2.7% year on year. And the chairman of the Thai Bankers Association's predicted the automotive sales in the first 5 months of this year would contract 24%. That's a decrease of about 81,000 cars. And the segment that will see the biggest drop in sales is commercial cars, estimated to go down 39% year on year, or some 67,000 vehicles. And that includes the ubiquitous pickup truck in Thailand, which when you're driving around the road seems to be every second or third vehicle on the road. And on property, total property transfers in the first 4 months of this year dropped by nearly 12% for houses and 7.4% for condominiums. But a bit of good news for the auto industry from nationthailand.com. BYD's first plant outside China starts EV manufacturing in Rayong. And BYD electric vehicles, the biggest sellers of the Chinese brands here in Thailand. The factory has a maximum production capacity of 150,000 cars per year, with a total investment of over 35 billion baht. It took 16 months to construct the factory at the WHA Industrial Estate in Rayong. The first model to roll off the production line is a BYD Dolphin, and this factory will produce BYD's 8 millionth car, which will be donated to the Mayor Phà Luang Foundation under royal patronage. If you don't know what it is, that's a BYD Dolphin, full electric car, pretty much the same sort of design language as the Honda Jazz, a little bit larger. I've been inside one, had a drive, and for the price, very nice car indeed. Probably going to see fewer pickups and more of these Chinese EVs on the roads. Also thinking about the EU imposing some tariffs on China and the export of their electric cars. With these cars being built in Thailand, will they suffer the same restrictions? I don't know. All right, to this story, and let's talk about weather. And the PHATIAnews.com says thunderstorms expected in Pattaya, Bangkok and northeast region of Thailand. Let's just quickly whip around the country. Bangkok looks like this morning there's an 86% chance of rain going to Pattaya and Chonburi province. Earlier this morning from 9 o'clock looks like it's going to be the heaviest rain dissipating during the day, up to Chiang Mai, and their heaviest rain predicted from around about 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock this evening, to Hua Hin, and they've got precipitation mostly this morning before 12 and then dissipating again, to Koh Samui, and looks like they've got a 95% chance of rain this morning, and Phuket, 100% chance of rain. Well, I can confirm that around about 9 o'clock, because that's exactly what we've got now, just a little bit north of Phuket. So no surprises really. It is the wet season, but let's hope, at least in Phuket's case, they don't get those sudden and very heavy rains that led to extensive flooding on the island last weekend. And with that, I thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Please support our sponsors. That'd be much appreciated too. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow with our live program between 9 and 10 Thai time. Get your questions ready.